Hey guys, thanks for giving me a couple weeks off. My mom came into town, so I was hanging out with her. And apparently, what my family does on vacation is work, because we got like 12 or 15 tons of topsoil we had dropped off in the yard and got that spread out and painted the kitchen and got the new mailbox post all set up, and so that's our vacations. But it was good to be able to see her too and spend some time with her. So that's why I skipped out the last couple weeks. The 2 weeks ago, I was picking her up from the airport, and then last week, I think we were cleaning the walls in the kitchen, getting them ready to be painted. So, uh, thanks for excusing me from that. I did miss doing these though, man. I was ready to go today. I've been pacing around my living room for like the last half hour, just chomping at the bit. And, man, not having any outlet for all this stuff. My dog's sniffing around. For all this stuff that God's been dumping on me has like turned me into a pressure cooker. I feel like I'm gonna pop. So we'll see. There's a bunch of stuff that I have been wanting to bring up. So we'll see how focused I can stay for all this. But I usually take a couple breaks at work, a couple 15-minute breaks, and just sit in the cafe so nobody bothers me and just do whatever. And God had been trying to get something across to me all morning. And it's like it was just getting stuck somewhere. It was hitting a bottleneck, and I just couldn't quite process it. And then finally, on my second break, I just sat there, and then he just went off. Man, he gave me quite a bit, and it's pretty much essentially something that I had been wanting to talk about anyway. So we'll see where it goes. One thing that I really, really, really don't like about the way Christianity is, at least here in America. I don't know how much different it is anywhere else, but there's a bunch of people that commingle God and politics. Like God's furthering their agenda when it's really got nothing to do with Him. And then they get so focused on just using God as leverage somehow and twisting His arm into doing something for them to further what they want. And man, there's quite a few of my Christian friends that are like that, actually, and it breaks my heart. There was one when the prosperity message first really started making rounds. I was still kind of new to Christianity then, but I knew enough to know that that was garbage. So one of these guys, I tried to sit down with him, and because he was falling for it, man, hook, line, and sinker. I tried to sit down with him and just, try to tactfully be like, hey, you're wrong. And of course, dude, that went south fast. It was a pretty short conversation, and things have been kind of weird between he and I since. I've kept in touch with him and some other people that are on that same page, just hoping that I can find an avenue in to just inject a piece of truth here and there into at least their thought process or their life, anything. And then of course now with the politics, and we just had the presidential inauguration a few weeks ago, I think, and it's just been a firestorm of garbage. And this guy, man, there'll be a string of items on my Facebook feed from him and some other people that are just, it may as well just alternate. There's one that's political that it's just hateful, man. Even if it's a comic that's supposed to be funny, just vitriolic. Then the next one will be some delightful little Christian quote with a shepherd petting a sheep by a pond. And then back to more hateful vitriol. And then a Bible verse. Dude, no. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff from people like that, and that mentality that lends itself to that grace movement where nothing is sin. And well, just long story short, that one's crap too. You can find it in the Bible if you want, but that is not God. And they post all these clips from pastors talking about how the blessings of God, the storehouses of God's treasure room are going to fly open in 2013, and it's going to be wonderful. It's like, that's all really this whole 8-10 minute clip was just talking about God's blessing. And honestly, man, I don't care what somebody has to say about God until I know what they have to say about Jesus. I've been so excited to say that for like 2 months now. But really, dude, I mean, say I work with almost 200 people, and a bunch of them are just godless New Age pagans. You know how many different gods they bring to work with them every day? Whether in their mind or their heart or in their pocket or necklace or whatever, man. They define theirs as God. God, but all right, let's go back to accountability. Sorry, like I said, I've been so excited to get back on and start doing this. Anyway, the whole grace thing, not even mentioning Jesus when you talk about God's blessings, dude, that may as well not even be Christian. You can quote the Bible all you want. If it's got nothing to do with Jesus, what good is it? And you see all these people trying to appropriate God's blessing in their life. And then you spend 5 minutes with them outside of them having their church face on. They'll cut you up one side and down the other. Or somebody else, or the political aspect is just dissolving into racial, hateful bigotry. And these people say they're Christians, and they try and preach to other people, and then they try and talk about God's blessings like it's something that they're actually going to get. Really? No, that's not how God works at all. Man, judgment starts in the house of God. Ideally, it starts with each of us, just between us and God. Nobody else even needs to get involved, man. We get that little spanking from God in our spirit. If we say something wrong, or if we think something wrong, we get that little half second where we can catch it, and then to learn how to start dealing with it, and then just get rid of the root of those thoughts entirely. But man, God wants accountability. Not people that just dismiss sin like it's no big thing, because that's what separates people from God. I mean, pride. People's pride is what sends them to hell, because they don't want to submit. They don't want to go through the eye of the needle, however you want to say it. I got to keep reining myself in, because I start getting off on these tangents. But double-minded person shouldn't expect to get anything from God. And if you're so focused on politics, and then you use God just as an afterthought for fuel to help you out with your own agenda, dude, no. Man, God wants so much more than that. But if we're off on little satellite tangents, not barely hanging on to God, let's just go to what he said to me on my break at work today. And I'm going to email this to the ICTIS team so it'll be up online for everybody to read. I just hadn't done it yet. So, from God to Pete, accountability is the key that few want, but that I require of those who truly want to invite my abundance into their lives. It's about having a direct line to God. So you can talk to him, so he can talk to you. So you can send stuff up to him, whether it's worship, whether it's just people on your heart, man, just give them to him. And then he can send back down to you provision, hope, love, strength, fidelity, purity. And so many people spout on and on about how important my blessings are to them, but they aren't on my path. They aren't in my will. If they have little to do with me, what communion can I actually have with them? What religion didn't like about Jesus was that he disregarded their pride and simply cut straight to the heart of any issue he was confronted with, oftentimes exposing the shortcomings of those intent on destroying him. Like when Jesus was teaching in the temple, and then these religious leaders caught some chick right in the very act of adultery and threw her down right in front of Jesus when he was teaching in the temple. He wasn't just teaching to the wall. There was people there. And then they were trying to pin him. So all he did was like, hey, if you haven't sinned, you can go ahead and throw a stone. Some of these people, they started getting it in perspective, and then they just kind of just walked off. Let's see. So there's so much I want to say today. But this accountability, man, we've got to not only establish within our own heart and our own mind who God is, but what he thinks of us, what he's done for us, what he wants to do for us, and what he expects from us. Man, it's all through Jesus. Any one of those people that I work with, man, I can go up and we can just have a great little chat about God, not have any kind of division at all, and talk about how good God is and blah, blah, blah. And they would agree with me because their God might be like a bracelet or a tattoo or a way of thinking or whatever. There's this one chick at work I've talked to some. She has she's told me about this spirit guide that's just in her head. And I've asked her about it, and I said, well, so if it comes from within you, isn't that partial? I mean, doesn't that give you a biased perspective of what your spirit guide is trying to guide you into? And she was like, well, not really. It's coming from within. It's nothing external that's trying to take you in a certain direction. Man, trying to stay focused, but dude, I've been ready to pop for about a week now because I've missed these broadcasts so much. But accountability. A lot of these people in Jesus' time came to him trying to expose him like he was as fraudulent as they were. And he just put them in their place. And some people, man, he did it in love. Sometimes he went into the temple and found a marketplace instead of a ministry. Man, he made a whip himself, and he drove all those people out, and he was furious about it. I think there's a difference between choosing ignorance or just being naive about something. You can see how Jesus confronted different people, like Nicodemus. Man, he didn't make a whip for him and try and scourge the stupid out of him. But one thing God asked me in this, Do you think your life will be any different than Jesus' life if you truly want my best? That meaning, and there was all these times religion tried to expose Jesus, and all Jesus did was turn it on itself, turn their plan upside down, expose them. There was all these times they were just going to kill him, and he disappeared into the crowd, or he walked right through them, or whatever. But he wasn't shy about calling a spade and getting in their face about it. And that's something that that Christianity really, 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 really needs. Man, going back to some of those friends that are as big on politics. Well, they say they're as big on politics as they are on God, but you can tell by their lifestyle that politics plays a way bigger role. Man, God's been he's been dealing with me about sitting down with one of them and having a chat about just warning them about how close they are to searing their conscience. You think that's chat I'm looking forward to? No, not at this point anyway, because it's probably going to be a pretty short chat. But man, it's truth. And if what we want is truth, we've got to anchor ourselves in God. I mean, it might take some practice, but we've got to know that we can hear God. We've got to be really, really established in knowing where His voice is in us and being able to convey that. Man, God wants us to be His megaphone. He's the still small voice. We're supposed to be the ones on the rooftop. Or the city on a hill, if you want to be biblical about it. There was, side note, Carrie and a couple other people have mentioned that I don't really do Bible references in my broadcasts. And I love the Bible. Man, I don't read it enough, but how many people do? We don't need to talk about how much we do read it. We read it enough. But with these people I work with, they hate religion, man. So if I just start spouting theological and just doing nothing but pulling verses out of my ear or whatever else, they're just going to shut down. So what I've learned to really enjoy doing is just pulling all these principles and ideas and just the essence of the Bible and putting it into everyday life. Man, that way I can just sneak it in there. And it's so much fun watching these people just start making changes in their life for the better. They don't even know why. There's one of my really, really good friends at work that I work with him a few days a week. And we used to have these hostess donut dates. Like it was almost every day one or the other would bring a bag of donuts in to work, and then we'd just hang out and eat them and just chat for a little while we were doing our thing. And there was days like when I would stop at a gas station and pick some up on my way to work, and then I'd get there and he'd look and see that I got a bag of donuts. And he's like, "Man, I almost got one when I was getting my coffee this morning, but something told me not to." And I haven't had the stones to tell him that it's God that's talking to him, because, well, honestly, I don't know how receptive he'd be to it, but that's what's going on. Man, personally for me, I get a kick out of sneaking God, sneaking Jesus, sneaking the Bible in under people's radar. And that's just how I like to do things. There's plenty of other people that use verses. Man, check out Jim Martin for one. jmmgrace.com, Jim Martin Ministries, JMM Grace. He's got like 300,000 teachings on there. He's like a human concordance. I don't know how he does it. And same with Gary Carpenter, just garycarpenter.org. Man, he's got a ton of stuff too, just all about the Bible. But they talk to Christians, and Most of the time I don't. So anyway, back to what I was saying was we've got to be ready for religion to just throw down with us, man. You saw what they did to Jesus. If we, let's say for a second that Jesus walked in the absolute, pure, unadulterated fullness of God. They got him on a cross, crucified, like he may as well just asphyxiated. He didn't care about his body, he cared about the message he was trying to get across. How, if we expect the fullness of God, can we really expect to get babied by God? Man, Jesus blazed the trail. We're just supposed to walk down him, walk down where he was. And just, everybody's a piece of the puzzle, man. Back to what he told me. That fear that tries to grip you when I ask you to discuss with someone the flaws that they harbor that keep them from me, that needs to go. You'll never be able to completely hear my voice to free them if you try to compromise with reasonings and, quote, sound judgment. It's been like back to the whole double-minded thing, man. You try and compromise with reasoning. Man, I was Kim and Toka. I sent them an email a while back, and I was starting to wrap it up, and I was like, God, is there anything you want me to say? And I got done gorging on this huge meal, and I was just kind of out of it, and I thought he was telling me something, so I started with this little disclaimer. I was like, man, I don't know if this is God or the half-pound hamburger and meal I just ate, but here's something. Let's give it a shot. They said it was God, so thank you, Kim and Toka. We just gotta practice, but I'd suggest practicing with friends first before you start trying to minister to people that don't even like God. There's one guy at work. Man, he's like pride with legs. Not in a bad way most of the time. Like he's pretty amicable, pretty friendly. But if you cross him, you'll find out real quick. And he was telling me and this other guy how he was at some big store shopping, and some Christian saw in the magazine rack that this store was selling porn, just porn magazines. So this super Christian grabbed one of the employees and just started giving them the business, like it was her decision. and my buddy is just standing there watching this whole thing play out. And this employee was trying to be professional about it. And, well, yeah, I'm sorry, blah blah blah, whatever. Just trying to do the courteous thing. But man, this Bible thumper would just not ease up, like they had something to prove. So finally, the employee was like, "Look, if you want to take it up with corporate, it's their decision. I have nothing more I can do or say to help you." And then she just walked off. So my buddy, he finished shopping, and he tracked her down, the employee, and he was like, "Hey, I'm glad you did that. Just stood up to that, because it's ridiculous that people try and do that." And the chick was really grateful and was happy somebody was sticking up for her. And then as this coworker was telling me and another guy that, he just started going off about Jesus and God and Christianity. Man, I just kept my mouth shut. Just say your piece, dude. Get it out. And then at the very end, man, what he said, I think, really sums up the hearts of a lot of people. And he was like, hey, man, don't talk to me about Jesus, because me and him got something to settle, and I ain't ready to do that yet. And then he kind of stormed off, and me and the other guy were just kind of, huh, yeah, cool. And the guy that was telling the story, I don't think he knows that I'm a guerrilla Christian, undercover. But this other guy listening to the story, he knows, and he knows about these broadcasts, and he knows just how important my faith is to me. And he's actually done more preaching about it at work than I have, which I think is awesome. I think that is not as prevalent as it should be among Christianity. And then another thing he said to me, this is a good one. Grow confident in your ability to hear my voice, and let that confidence translate into every arena of your life. Let my love flow through you to strengthen and empower you for the road I've set in front of you. There will be conflicts and anger and hatred and malice and abuse pointed in your direction, but who is your protector? That's another thing we really, really need to settle in our own hearts. Man, if I'm just doing my thing at work, and some church burnout finds out I'm a Christian, and they just get angry, man. They just start listening to that voice of the devil telling them to take me out. So they just bring a gun with them and get it in my face. I don't think I would be that calm. I would probably have to change my pants. But that is not what God wants from me, man. It's if he's my protector, I ain't going to worry about staring down 3 inches of a barrel, or however long, rifle, shotgun, pistol, whatever. We can't have that root of fear, but we can't get rid of that root of fear unless it's exposed. you dig something up, that's how you get rid of it. That's how I get rid of a lot of stuff in my yard. And then at the end of this thing that he was given to me, that I spent all morning trying to download, was just embracing the individuality we have with God. Because we aren't going to be accountable for anybody else that we're trying to follow. Just like they're not going to be accountable for us to do what God has told us to do. Man, and I'll just read it and then we'll go from there. Don't keep waiting for other people to step up, son. Nobody else can fully walk your path but yourself, so stop looking to others as examples of what I want you to do. You'll never find your calling in them. Be strong and make a habit of continually being aware of my presence, both in you and with you. I mentioned Jim Martin, Gary Carpenter, Dave Roberson, daveroberson.org if you're interested. And there's a few people I really look up to. And for a while there, I would see how they lived their life, how they stepped into their calling, how they're doing it now, how they're continuing to follow God with their life and their lifestyle now. And it was like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Man, you see the thing you're trying to insert, you see where you want to insert it, but it just ain't fitting. And that's something God's been trying to get across to me for a while, was just getting comfortable with myself. My flaws don't have to be anybody else's. Nobody else's flaws have to be mine. Man, I can go to a bar, minister to those people, undercover usually, which is how I like it. But there's some people that can't, or that refuse to. But being accountable to God means not projecting our issues onto other Christians that are trying to minister in other circles, other spheres, to other people. God gave me another word about, this was probably 2, 3, 4 years ago, about how accountability is supposed to cost something. And a lot of people don't really weigh the options and just kind of dismiss that and continue chasing the blessings of God without actually giving him an avenue to bless them. I mean, how stupid is that? Let's say I made a dozen cinnamon rolls. I call up my buddy and be like, hey, I'm making some pastries if you want to come over and enjoy them. And, they start drooling. They start making it over, but they stop at a house just outside of the neighborhood. And then they call me and they're all pissed about it because they don't have any cinnamon rolls over where they're at. Dude, you're not where I am, dummy. Come to me so I can give you what I have for you. That's how God's trying to deal with a lot of people. But a lot of people, a lot of Christians have been walking that line, just barely brushing up against accountability on the conservative side of accountability, of course, so they don't actually have to give anything up. And then they'll talk about, God bless me with this, and then they'll be like, all right, but I need this from you. Wait, what? That's not God. Man, whatever it is that we're holding on to, like what Paul said, dude, it's crap compared to what God wants to give us. He's like not a consignment store. Well, not really a white elephant party either. Everybody brings a gift and then you kind of get stuck with one. Well, he wants what's keeping you from him. That way, he can go pile it on the rest of the sins that Jesus took when he was on the cross. And then he wants to give you what Jesus died for us to have. Man, you can find verses for that all over if you want. We can have a chat about that later, whatever. But we got to get to the point where we can trust God enough that what he's asking from us, what he wants us to sacrifice, whether it's in our lifestyle, in our heart, in whatever, that it's worth what he's trying to get across to us, what he's trying to replace that void with. So, I think I'm about spent. That's all I got for today. Again, sorry, I was bouncing around. Man, I just got so excited.